Thank you for making time for business and politics. I feel like our roles are reversed because normally you're hosting the program.
Yes.
But now you have a new preoccupation. I think very close to your heart, championing the concerns of our modern day heroes.
Yes.
First of all, congratulations. But maybe talk to us about your agenda. What is your legislative agenda? What's keeping you busy in Congress? There's so many concerns, but what's on top of your list?
First of all, I would like to greet you, my good friend Klink, for this opportunity to be with you in this business and politics.
Thank you.
And I heard about the very good reviews, and definitely I will have it in our social media with your permission.
Thank you.
I would like to greet everybody in advance Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and to the SMNI family, Pastor Kiboloy, to everybody, napaka-hardworking. Thank you so much for all the support. Ang ating agenda for the OFWs, yes, of course, sabi mo nga, from our hosting, from the movies, from television.
You've been working on this for a long time.
Yes,
Yeah.
22 years to be exact,
Wow.
Klink. And that's the very reason why it is very close to my heart, Klink, because 22 years I've been working with all the problems, the concerns, the issues, and all the, shall we call, all the heartaches, the depression ng ating mga OFWs all over the world, not only in Manila, all over the world, because they are the most vulnerable sector of our society. The first list in our agenda that we had, and after 2 weeks being in Congress, after the SONA, last July 25 of President Bongbong Marcos, I did my privilege speech on families left behind.
Oh, the social cost.
Social cost, because why? Our OFWs have been traveling to different countries to be able to give a good life to our families, to their loved ones, a greener pasture in the future. They left their families, and they always, yung homesickness, that's number one, na nagiging problem ng ating mga OFWs with their employers and in their workplace. And most of them, if they cannot, if they cannot really suffer much, some are still going to have suicide. I mean, these are some of the grievances that we would like to take into consideration in aid of legislation, that we have to take care of the families left behind, because their loved ones, their ate, their kuya, their nanay, their kapitbahay, their cousins, they are toiling hard, sweat, blood, and tears para lang mabigyan sila ng magandang buhay. And to top it all, they want to have a house, masasabing kanila, na magkaroon sila ng titulo ng kanilang mga bahay, because that's the very reason they went abroad, to be able to build something decent for the family. Yung pagkakataon na wala sila sa kanilang mga pamilya, every birthdays, every graduation, Christmas, yan. Nandiyan na tayo, New Year, lahat po ng mga okasyon na ito na masasabi nating, alam mo naman ng Pinoy, Klink, tayo yung masyadong emotional, masyado tayong attached sa mga pamilya natin. Pag dumarating itong mga gantong pagkakataon, they cannot do anything but cry in the solace of their small rooms. It's good for our skilled workers na talagang they are taken care of, napakaganda ng sweldo nila, ng kanilang mga salary, maganda ang working conditions nila, alagang-alaga sila. But our household service workers, unskilled workers natin, sila po ang napapabayaan na sektor. Sabihin na natin 2 or 3%, but they still counted as millions.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
2 to 3% of about 10 or so million.
Yes, kasi ang sabi natin sa ating data, 2.3 million ang ating overseas Filipino workers or overseas contract workers. Pero paano yung mga nakapunta ng abroad, Klink, na hindi naman legal ang pagkakapunta doon? So we are counting at least 10 million to 15 million kasama na yung mga residents natin. So ano ang hope ng ating mga unskilled workers? Tayo po, being the OFW, the lone OFW representative in the 19th Congress, we would like to make a big stand. We would like to make a difference in the lives of our overseas Filipino workers and our overseas Filipinos na nandirito po ang inyong representante na nagmamahal sa inyo, kakalinga sa inyo, at hindi po gagawing lip service ang modern day heroes.
Right.
So, marami po tayong mga file na bills, marami tayong final na bills sa Kongreso at hinahayaan po nating tumakbo ito sa mga committee hearings. Ngayon, para Klink maging mas maganda, meron tayo kasi yung families left behind, meron tayong bill para sa exclusion, abolition, or taking out of PhilHealth insurance para sa ating mga overseas Filipino workers.
Okay.
Nagpapahirap ito sa kanila, Klink.
Because wala naman sila dito.
Wala naman sila dito. Nasa abroad sila. And to top
So they
it
can't
all,
avail of the...
they cannot.
Yeah.
Sabi nga nila, universal health care, lahat na tayo, pamilya natin,
Right.
kasama na dyan, it's automatic. So whenever they come home to spend 2 weeks or 1 month, they have to be voluntarily getting, kung gusto nila, na maging PhilHealth insurance
When they're here.
when they are here.
Yeah.
But if not, it has to be voluntary basis.
Okay.
Bakit? They already have insurance sa employer nila.
Right.
Sa OWA, they already have another insurance. Meron pa tayong PhilHealth na pati pamilya natin kasama na. So this is additional cost to them.
Okay.
What we did, Klink, we did had 2 policy dialogue with the PhilHealth officials in our Congress. And we were told that, we also need funds, and then they are also helping yung mga families na naiwanan dito, and we spent so much already para sa mga pamilya na iwan that we cannot discount. The fact, it's true, we have the record, but can we just make it sure na di sila direct contributors ang ating mga OFWs? Voluntary at pwede, wag nang tataas pa yung kanilang binabayaran. Kasi sa bagong batas ngayon, ay merong escalation for every year.
Right.
Tapos, depende pa sa sweldo mo. So parang ang bigat. Kung meron na lang tayo, parang win-win situation, na meron na lang tayong lower na rate kesa sa regular na rate para dito sa mga PhilHealth contribution, at standardized na siya, hindi na siya pwedeng tumaas, then that will be a welcome treat para sa ating mga OFWs.
How are you? I'm sure you've been working with Secretary Toots Ople and the new Department of Migrant Workers.
Yes.
Are you happy with the policies that are coming out of that initiative? How are you working with them?
So for Klink, with Secretary Toots Ople, it's transition time, but I cannot say less because she is very cooperative, very efficient.
She knows her stuff. Yeah?
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She has been the advocate of OFWs for the decades. That's why we were able to meet before in other circumstances and events whenever there's OFW concerns and events. And she always, I had an official trip to Indonesia, Klink. She even sent an attaché from Singapore to go to Indonesia to talk and answer about legalities and technicalities na syempre I am not in authority to talk about. And I'm very thankful to her. And she knows that I am 100% supporting the DMW, the transition, the OWA, and we really fought hard sa budget deliberations sa Congress.
You were mentioning earlier that the domestic helpers are the unskilled OFWs are the ones who are most vulnerable, and you wanted to do a lot to help protect them.
Yes.
And I think the DMW is also doing that. But what are some of the things that you have in mind? Because we were asking Secretary Toots, for example, should there be some restrictions on deploying unskilled workers? But she was saying that people will go anyway, so it's hard to stop them because there's an opportunity to be had. So what's your take? I mean, what's the best way to protect that most vulnerable sector of our OFW community?
Klink, as I discussed in our committee hearings in Congress, I told them that we have of the pre-orientation seminar
Okay.
before every OFWs or our household service worker to go abroad. Kailangan yan. It's a prerequisite.
Oh.
But I don't think that's enough.
Okay.
You cannot put in so much knowledge
Yeah.
in the minds, in the heads of our OFWs na they have to learn the culture.
Right.
They have to learn the language, kahit basic lang yan. They have to know the do's and don'ts of the country, of the host country that they are going. And most especially, they have to know the rights and privileges as a human being. Hindi pwedeng kukunin mo passport ko.
Right.
Personal ko yan.
Right.
Hindi pwedeng magkakaroon ng substitution dahil salary ang pinag-uusapan. Pagdating ko doon, iba ang salary ko.
Right.
So I think...
So they have to know, dapat alam nila yung rights nila.
They have
Yeah.
to know exactly, and that's a very reason why we have already a partnership with the different schools, private schools that have been helping and supporting OFW Party-List na naniniwala sa atin even before TESDA come in. Dahil ngayon pa lang, siyempre next year pa yung budget ng 19th Congress. Ngayon naman po, wala pa talagang budget.
Right.
But the reason is we just have to lobby with the different agencies na meron ng natira nung
Right.
18th Congress. That's why we have TESDA
Right.
for schooling, for trainings.
Right.
Kailangan they have to be really studying, mag-training sila sa TESDA, maidagdag sa mga pre-departure orientation nila. They have to be prepared mentally, emotionally, para maiiwanan ko ba pamilya ko? Baka after 2 weeks lang, iiyak ako.
Yeah.
1 month, 2 months,
Yeah.
iiyak na ako. So preparation is very much needed, and the financial literacy, because once they earned money, hindi nila alam saan gagastusin, napupunta sa mga gadgets, sa mga kung ano-anong bagay na hindi naman yun yung primarily na priority ng ating mga mahal sa buhay.
Right. Kong, there's so much to unravel, but we have to take a quick break.
Yes, sure.
Please stay tuned. We'll be right back with Business and Politics with Congresswoman Marissa del Mar Magsino.